Hello, Dr. David DeRose here. Day 14, 2 weeks into our program, 30 days to natural diabetes and high blood pressure control. Today's challenge is seek spirituality. Now, I know that may sound familiar, may sound like, hey, aren't you just basically pointing us back to day 7? Remember, back on day 7, I promised you, every 7th day, we were going to have a component that deals with rest and refreshment. And I know we started talking a little bit about days of worship, and those of you who are getting a little concerned, you say, I'm an atheist, I'm an agnostic, I'm not going for that worship stuff. You say, what are you telling me now? Seek spirituality. Well, let me tell you where I'm coming from. I've noticed over the years that all of us are spiritual beings. And by spirituality, I talk about those things that really get at our inner core, things that look at our meaning, our purpose. Spirituality, in my book, is not necessarily synonymous with religion. You may be religious, but we're all spiritual beings, even if we're not religious. We have to find a sense of why we're here. What is life about? These kind of basic existential questions that all of us ask. So I'm suggesting that we seek spirituality. Now, most of the challenges I'm giving you are on a daily basis, but this one I'm going to tie in with a weekly theme. Because remember, I want you one day a week to be doing something different, taking a day of rest and reflection, a time to rejuvenate yourself, a time to pull away from the average work day challenges. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is connect with something that Dr. Greg Steinke and I expressed in a video. I've got it here among my educational videos. We called it Spirituality and Health, Neglected Dimensions. And you don't have to pick up the DVD. I'm going to give you some of the high points right now, because what we find is that all of us, as spiritual beings, there are certain spiritual tasks that actually can help us on our journey to better health, and especially to better diabetes and blood pressure control. Remember, one of the themes that we keep hearing about as we go through different topics is how stress hormones drive blood sugar and drive blood pressure. It raises both of them. So if we can find things that help us manage stress, we're in a powerful situation. Now, I'm going to talk more about stress in this 30-day series, so don't think it's all going to be limited to spiritual discussions. But in our book, 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control, really we share material that Greg and I drew from as we did that video. And I want to connect you with a graphic that actually comes from the 14th chapter of our book, where we deal with spirituality and implications for things like high blood pressure as well as diabetes. This is a summary of some of the research. It actually comes from one of the medical journals, where a researcher summarized what the evidence is when it comes to religious involvement or spirituality. What does it do for people? Listen to these 10 things. If you're more spiritually focused, you're more likely to embrace other healthy behaviors like exercise and proper diet. You tend to have better physical functioning, improved quality of life, better mental health outcomes. You tend to bounce back from grief more quickly. You're less likely to end up in the hospital. If you end up in the hospital, shorter stays tend to be the rule. Your blood pressure tends to be lower. You're actually less likely to have hypertension, less cardiovascular disease, and even a longer lifespan. So again, even if you're an atheist or agnostic, I'm telling you there's something about spirituality and spiritual values that are powerful. Now, even that word values, I know that's kind of a bad word. Listen, I know where you're coming from, because there was a point in my life where I related to myself as an agnostic. But here's what I'm trying to give you. just in a very short way. We're trying to give you high points from our books, from our videos, without you having to buy all those resources, and still give you practical tools. So this one is to take some time to reflect on spiritual values. Maybe it's reading a book that connects you with your spiritual heritage. Maybe it's exploring another spiritual heritage. Maybe it is, if you got a copy of our book, reading the 14th chapter, where we look at spiritual principles that cut across religious and even secular lines. Can you do it? Can you at least once a week seek spirituality? That's my challenge for day 14. We've got more coming up tomorrow on our journey to better health, dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure naturally in this 30-day program. I'm Dr. DeRose. Thanks for joining me. More tomorrow. Stay tuned.